Welcome to my new series, Back to Basics, your guide to get cooking. Last week I showed you how to make 3 types of stock: beef bone, vegetable, and chicken stock. In this episode, I'm going to show you how to use that stock and make delicious and heartwarming soups. So we're going to start with a simple but delicious chicken noodle soup that is perfect for a cold rainy day. And then we're gonna step it up a little bit and we're going to make the ultimate comfort food for me, which is a French onion soup gratiné. So let's get started. So before making any dish, you should always have your mise en place, meaning prepare everything you need before you start cooking. This is very important to get a successful recipe. So for this recipe, you will need 3 carrots, peeled, cut in half, then cut into half moons, and prepare 2 celery stalks, washed and cleaned, and also cut into half moons. 1 yellow onion, peeled, cut in half, and finely diced. And don't throw those scraps. I put them in a Ziploc bag and use them to make more stock. This way you will never waste. With the back of the knife, smash 2 garlic cloves, and now you can peel them easily. Slice them, then finely chop them. In a Dutch oven, add 1 tablespoon of butter and 1 tablespoon of olive oil. Then I like to use fresh sage to infuse the oil before adding the rest of the ingredients. 3 leaves is enough. Sage pairs really well with poultry. So give it about a minute, then add the mirepoix, or the base of the soup. Then I also add the needles or leaves of 2 sprigs of thyme. Then let the onion and the rest of the vegetables sweat for about 5 minutes on medium-low heat until the onions are translucent. Now you can add the garlic. Add a good pinch of salt and some freshly ground black pepper. Stir it and leave it for about a minute or 2. After 2 minutes, you can add the delicious chicken stock, about 4 cups, that's about a liter. And then you want to let it come to a boil. Meanwhile, you can shred the chicken that we made stock with. If you didn't use whole chicken, it's better to use chicken legs for tastier and tender meat. Once it comes to a boil, you can add that chicken and let it soak up the flavors from the soup for about 5 minutes. Remember, it's already cooked. I'm using Chinese sliced noodles, about 100 grams, and that's 3.5 ounces. I broke them into smaller pieces to make it easier to eat. You can use pasta or rice as well. If it's a starch that needs to cook for a long time, I would cook it separately, then add it to the soup. These noodles take about 6 minutes to cook, but I will only give them 4 minutes. Then the heat of the soup will finish cooking it. Always check the seasoning before serving and add as needed. You can serve immediately or you can double the batch and freeze it in small batches using Ziploc bags. But don't add the noodles. Better let the soup defrost, then cook the noodles as much as you need. Now let's move on to making onion soup. So we will start with peeling 8 or 9 medium yellow onions. And this is how I prepare the onions. I cut one end, peel it, then cut the other end. I cut them in half and then thinly slice it into half moons. So you have to do this the same way with the rest of the onions. It takes a bit of time, but trust me, it's worth it. When you're done, it might seem like it's a lot of onions, but it will cook down. In a Dutch oven, add 1 tablespoon of butter with 1 tablespoon of olive oil. This will give us a great flavor from the butter, and the oil will alter the smoke point of the butter. Add the onions and let them sweat for about 20 to 30 minutes on low heat. Check on them every once in a while and stir. When the onions turn tender, add 1 tablespoon of salt for flavor, and it will help the onions release all that moisture. Then a 1/4 teaspoon of sugar, and this will help caramelize the onions, which is a key factor of flavor in a French onion soup. Then about 1/8 of a teaspoon of freshly ground black pepper. Now, do you see those brown bits at the bottom of the pot? So traditionally, you would use some white wine or cherry to deglaze, but you could also use apple cider vinegar, about a quarter cup. This is optional, so you choose whatever you feel comfortable with. Then add 1 tablespoon of flour to thicken it up and stir it well. Then let it cook to get rid of that raw flavor of the flour. And then add 2 sprigs of thyme for more flavor. It's all about building up those flavors. 10 minutes later, once the onions are beautifully caramelized, pour 1 liter, and that's 4 cups of the beef stock that we made from previous episode. Then let it simmer and cover it for about 20 minutes. Meantime, preheat the broiler, and when you are ready to eat, you can pour the soup in small oven-proof bowls or in one big oven-safe dish like I have here. So here I'm using a fresh homemade loaf just out of the oven, but you can use a baguette. Even if it's stale, it would still work beautifully. Cut it into diagonal slices and arrange the slices on top of the soup. And now for the best part. Topping it with cheese. I'm using Gruyere for its nuttiness, creaminess, and earthiness. And I'm also using Parmesan for its light saltiness, sharpness, and fruitiness, if I might say. So basically I did 1 layer of Gruyere, then another layer of Parmesan, then just did it again. But you can do whatever you want here. You can use different types of cheese that you like. You don't have to use these exact ones. Put as much as you want, nobody's judging you. Definitely I'm not. Then put it under the broiler for about 2 or 3 minutes until the cheese melts and the bread crisps up. Look at that, it's just gorgeous. Now, all you need to do is dig in and enjoy this beautiful, delicious soup. So hopefully this video was very helpful. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up and let me know in the comment section below if you have any questions or requests. I would love to hear them. And don't forget to subscribe for more videos. I hope to see you soon in the next episode. Bye!